He bled out right there on the track. Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old boy, stabbed in the chest, held in his brother's arms while he took his last breath. And over what? A seat.
Hurry up.
It's a terrifying, gut-wrenching, incomprehensible scene in Frisco, Texas, just 20 miles north of where I sit here today. A high school track meet yesterday turned deadly. 17-year-old football star Austin Metaf was stabbed in the heart and left to die in his twin brother's arms after a fight broke out yesterday.
This one hit home. I've got kids close in age, 13 months apart, and the thought of one holding the other as they pass away is horrifying to me. Man, I've buried a brother, a sister, and my mother, and I'm now the age where I've outlived my siblings. I'm very familiar with grief, and this is senseless. Please, let's take a moment of silence for Austin Metcalf. He deserved to be here. He deserved to grow up, and he deserved to live. Follow me to the next clip of his father, Jeff Metcalf, speaking.
I was diagnosed with cancer 9 years ago, and I was not supposed to live. And God blessed me because he knew I needed to be a father for these two boys. My two boys is what my life lived. I lived my life for my children. That was my why to keep fighting, and I'm cancer free. So God had a plan for me. So I was able to watch and be blessed so much. But having both my sons are amazing. My other son is just crushed. Well, it started with a call from his football coach who was not at the track meet and said, I think Austin has been stabbed. And I said, where at? And he said, Kukendall Stadium. And I said, I'm on my way. So I drove up there, went through a load of police officers, and was able to see my son on the gurney with a huge hole and blood all over him, and they were pumping him. He wasn't breathing, and his eyes were rolled back in his head. So I had to find his brother. They're twins. And so I found Hunter and tried to get him under control as best we could. And then I loaded him up in my car, and we drove to the hospital as quickly as possible. And we waited. And when the doctors came in and said that he didn't make it, it was tough. My son took it extremely hard. Mm-hmm. I'm still in shock, to be honest. I mean, I'm numb. So it really hasn't hit me. And I don't believe any parent should ever have to bury their child. And I pray that, maybe there's changes made as far as security or things like that. And maybe we can learn from this and try to turn a tragedy into something positive to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else's child. I don't want parents to feel like I feel today. So I've already forgiven the person who stabbed him. God's going to take care of everything. God's taking care of my son. I kissed him. When I kissed him goodbye for the last time, I told him it's not goodbye, it's see you later. So I just have to trust in God and my faith to pull us through. I don't understand his plan. We're all subject to trial and tribulations. God didn't say life was going to be fair or wasn't going to be hard, but he said he'll always be beside you and never leave your side. So we're going to lean deep into our faith. He was voted team MVP of the football team this year. He carried a 4.0. He was on National Honor Society. He's ranked in the top 50 of the state in his position. He's having D1 colleges contact him. He had a great life ahead of him. And to be taken away, it's such a tragedy. I mean, I can't even tell you how I feel because I don't know how I feel. When I got the call, I was scared, but I was hoping like he's stabbed in the stomach. It's not going to be that big a deal, surgery, as long as he's okay. When I saw him, I knew it wasn't good. And then when his brother told me, Dad, I tried to hold the wound to the blood, but there was too much. And he died in my arms. It's tragic. I feel sorry for that individual because he's now made a mistake that's going to cost him the rest of his life. Try to be kind in this world. And if you can't be kind, find someone who is. And when I kissed his forehead today, as his body was cold, I ran my fingers through his hair. I told him it's not goodbye. It's see you later. I'll join you at some point too, son. You just beat me to this place. So you keep an eye on me up there. Put in a good word for me. And we'll meet again.
That man, Jeff Metcalf, stood there just a day after losing his son and somehow held it together while I struggled too. Wearing that shirt, GOAT, God over all things, with the kind of strength only faith could give. That's what real fatherhood looks like. That's what faith under fire looks like. Let's check out the next clip of the press conference.
On Tuesday afternoon in Frisco, Texas, two young men went to compete in a high school track meet. They exchanged a few words, and then neither came home. 17-year-old Austin Metaf was senselessly murdered, stabbed to death, and he died in his twin brother's arms.
So then I see him running down the bleachers, grabbing his chest, and just blood rushing out. He said, he got stabbed, he got stabbed. First, I froze for half a second. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him about to fall. I went to go over there. I grabbed him. I see.
Carmelo Anthony has been arrested and charged with murder. Also a standout student athlete at Centennial High School.
Let's clear up the air. He wasn't a stranger sneaking in. He was an athlete. He was a student. He was supposed to be there. And yet, he came with a knife. This wasn't protection. This is some form of premeditation. In our next clip, they discuss the fight starting over a seat.
The suspect was allegedly told he was sitting in the wrong seat in the stands of the stadium before drawing a knife and attacking Austin. Police have yet to reveal what led up to that moment, but we do know the other student has been charged with murder.
A seat. That's all it took to trigger a murder. We've got kids responding to words with weapons, and we act like this is normal. Nah, this is a parenting failure, a cultural collapse, and it's costing lives. You want real pain? Picture this. You're a twin. You watch your other half get stabbed in the chest. You try to hold them together, but the blood just won't stop. That's what Hunter lives with now, and for the rest of his life. That's no trauma any young man should have to carry. And both families, forever changed. Fathers, step up. Where are the parents of the attacker? Where is the voice of correction? Let me talk to the fathers. Be in your kids' lives every day. Teach them love, respect, joy, humility. Teach them what life is worth. Teach them what restraint looks like and what consequences feel like. That one conversation might be the thing that stops this from happening to your family. I've lost close family, and I've danced with death, and I've lived through pain most people care not to talk about. But what Jeff Metcalf just showed us, that strength and that faith, that's what being a real man looks like in 2025. Wearing that shirt that says God over all things while standing over your son's memory, that ain't human strength. That's God-given grace. To the Metcalfs, I pray peace finds you, and I pray healing surrounds you, and I pray this storm won't last always, and it won't have the last word. Amen. Don't just scroll past this. Share it. Say his name, Austin Metcalf. His life matters. His storm matters. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell, because the world needs more voices that won't back down. God bless.
Listen.